Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Loud on Set. And here at Loud on Set, I'm Jonah.
I'm Austin.
And we like to get pretty festive around the holiday time, as you can see from our...
Didn't we do that one?
No.
I thought we did that was like the second one.
Well, I'm yapping. You didn't let me yap.
No, sorry.
I was going to go in-depth about... Not in-depth, but I was going to call out the set today.
We're filming all of the intros at one time here, so you can piece them together.
Industry secret. Okay. Okay.
All right, welcome to Podmas.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Podmas!
So, Nosferatu.
Okay, right off the bat, there's a Nosferatu movie coming out on Christmas.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas. And we'll be seeing it shortly after, and we will release a full pod talking about it in the future after New Year's, because we got some plans for New Year's here. But I don't know an insane amount about the Nosferatu character.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you the amount of knowledge I have?
Why don't you, do that, and then field me any questions you have, and then I'll answer, and then I'll kind of take it from there.
Okay. So the knowledge I have of Nosferatu.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Shut up.
Okay.
Poor girl. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
My Siri just started tweaking. So what I know about Nosferatu is vampire.
Yeah. Well, it's not like a spoiler, but like the term vampire is, yeah, he's a vampire. Yeah.
And he was flickering the lights.
This is a SpongeBob thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hilarious.
He's like, and who was flickering the lights? And they look at him, and he's like,
yeah.
flipping the lights, and
Yeah.
they're like, Nosferatu.
Okay.
And that's all I know. That's everything I know.
Okay.
So you got to fill me in the audience.
Well, do you have any questions before I rant? Because I'd like,
Yes.
I'd
Yeah,
like
yes,
to answer
yes,
your
yes.
curiosity.
Okay, I have a couple questions,
'Kay.
and I'm gonna list them all out, and then you answer.
Okay. Got it.
So a couple of my questions are, why were you hesitant when I said vampire? And then another question I have is Nosferatu like a book, folktale? Where does it come from? And is this new movie a story with the Nosferatu character, or is it a recreation of a novel or a previous film?
These are all excellent questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, so to start with your first question, I hesitated because, yes, he is a vampire and he's attracted to blood, but generally he's just kind of this weird, creepy, like, creature of the night.
Yeah, which I think in folk lore,
Yeah.
that's what vampires are. But now they're very they're romantic. And
Yeah,
they have
now they're
love
like
life.
sexy in Twilight. So they're not cool anymore. They're not like
Yeah.
Salem's Lot. It's like they make out with each other. It's lame. But no. So where does Nosferatu come from as a character?
Yeah.
So essentially, Nosferatu is Dracula. They just which it's crazy that copyright existed at this time. I copyright has existed for a long time.
Yeah.
But they were not allowed to use the name Dracula, which kind of took them by surprise, because they had kind of finished it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh crap, we can't call it, Dracula, so Nosferatu. And
Does that name have any meaning, or did they just come up with
I
it?
think they just came up with it.
Okay.
But it's not at all an adaptation of the book Dracula. There are parts that take place at a castle, but the most of the horror comes when Nosferatu comes to town. Yeah, you just can't get away with using that name. And the estate of Bram Stoker was like, hey, that's
You can't use that.
can't be using that. So they had to change it up. And what remind me of your third question?
My third question was, I'm trying to think now. Well, I guess my third question was kind of mixed with my second.
I remember.
Yeah.
So your third question was along the lines of what is this new Nosferatu movie?
Yeah.
Is it a remake or is it just a new story with the same character? It is just a remake of the movie, because Nosferatu isn't like a franchise. It's just like a singular story. So this is just a remake of that movie.
What's the guy's name? He played Pennywise too.
Bill
He's
Skarsgård.
Dude, he just has a knack for playing the scariest characters.
Creepy little guy.
No, I'm expecting a lot of body horror.
I don't think that's what this is.
No.
This is.
Okay.
I think you should. From what I've heard, and I've heard things. I briefly browsed Reddit.
Oh. Ah!
I know.
Ah, the stench, bro! I can smell
You
it from a
smell
mile
it from
away.
over there.
Yeah.
When the movie gets like horror movie and there's like blood and stuff, it is like super gross, but it's way more about like atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's interesting coming from the director of The Lighthouse, because that's also a movie built very much on atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And the Robert Eggers discussion, it can happen now. It can happen during the pod of Nosferatu.
And we can touch on it briefly.
Okay. So I recently had a man cold. And for those who are unaware, a man cold is when my nose sniffles and my throat hurts and I stay in bed all day. I do nothing.
Do you know what's his name? Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah.
Like that. That is a man cold,
That was,
bro.
I was
Where
Cameron
he's like in bed and he just
when
wants
Jonah
to die.
was in Egypt land.
Yes.
Let my people go. That was me. So under the influence of the man cold, I watched all the Robert Eggers movies. Okay.
Dang. Bro, dang.
I had just seen The Lighthouse in IMAX. I didn't need to rewatch that. I know it's a perfect movie to me, but I watched The Witch and I watched the Northman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have thoughts on those, and I'm not going to touch on them too much because I know we had some fun ideas, some possibilities planned. But I will say The Lighthouse is still his best movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of by a long shot.
Oh.
Not that the other two are bad, but like.
Should I see the other ones before you see this? Or do you think it's just like I should put it on my list and see it eventually?
The Witch, you don't have to concern yourself with too much, but I think really to understand like the epic vibe that this, because the impression I'm getting from all this marketing and kind of the overall vibe of this picture is that it's going to be very much like in terms of atmosphere and vibes. It's going to be The Lighthouse mixed with The Northman.
Okay.
So you need to see the Northman is not a horror movie. It's like an action movie.
Yeah.
Which is a super weird change of pace for Robert Eggers because his first two movies are like straight up horror.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know what, I'm going to make a John Wick style like revenge movie with Vikings. Which
Right.
okay, that's what makes those movies all link together. So The Witch is about like pilgrims and The Lighthouse is about wikis and The Northman's about Vikings. It's like very weird parts of old culture. But he's slowly creeping to modern day because Nosferatu takes place in like the 1800s or the early 1900s.
What excites you the most about this remake?
Oh, where do I start? I'm a big fan of the original. Silent movie, 1922. It's old. You gotta
Is
have.
this silent?
No, it's
Okay.
not silent. There's dialogue
So
in it.
I told Jonah this episode that he's taking the charge because
Yeah.
I know literally like actually nothing.
Yeah, I like fielding questions about this because I'm super excited to see this because I've got like a vested interest in this. I'm a huge fan of the Nosferatu movie, the 1922 one. I'm a huge fan of Robert Eggers, so kind of just seeing these two worlds collide, it's like it's perfect. And Nosferatu was originally his plan to be his second movie. And he thought it was too ambitious, and he went for The Lighthouse instead.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
That's gonna says something about
that
this.
says something about this movie. Apparently, this is like epic in scope. Like it's.
Okay.
I've.
So it is a horror movie.
Yes.
I can't. It's the body horror that does it for me.
I don't think
I can't like. I'm a little squeamish when it comes to blood too.
and just
like
it's a
the
vampire
thought.
movie. There will be some of that.
I know.
I know. I don't. You don't have to. You don't have to go. I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
No, I'm bro.
Okay.
Bro. It's for the pod.
It's for the pot.
We have to go.
We have to go. But I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes like critic consensus, which is where they have like the sentence or two that sums up how the critics feel, and they called Nosferatu equal parts seductive and repulsive.
What? Seductive and
I've seen the original, so I kind of get what they're going at, but like I'm with a modern like art look at it. I'm honestly very nervous. Not nervous. It's going.
Is this
to be
A24?
No.
So it's just Robert Eggers.
It's just Robert Eggers.
Okay.
I don't know. I think The Witch and The Lighthouse are his A24 movies,
Okay.
and then his newer ones have been like with studios.
Got it.
other like bigger ones.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm very excited for this
Yeah.
movie. I know I'm gonna like it. I know it's gonna be like a crowd favorite. It's
Mhm.
already doing huge like critical numbers. People love it.
Yeah. Not to like glaze A24 again.
Right.
And I just talked
Again?
about again. No, but like it opens the door for more experimental films,
Mm-hmm.
and also I feel like it puts directors' names on the radar for people that might not know 'em. And
Right.
now look at this.
Yeah.
You will have seen every single Robert Eggers film.
Yeah, and I love The Lighthouse just because I kind of love that like mystical sea kind of
And
like
it's just so
aesthetic.
unique.
It is so unique. But I have the feeling that in terms of like filmmaking capacity and what Robert Eggers has been working to achieve for his whole career,
Yeah.
this could easily be my favorite of his movies, depending on how much I just prefer this over The Lighthouse. But I'm so excited. It's got Willem Dafoe. He's in it.
Okay.
Playing from what I've heard about his character makes me almost more nervous than the vampire
Really?
because Willem Dafoe plays
Scary dude.
he plays a scary man. He plays like an occultist vampire hunter, which is like even more scary to me than an actual vampire.
Well, you know what? We'll get him on the pod.
We'll get Willem Dafoe.
We'll get
on
Willem
the
Dafoe on the pod. We'll sit down. We'll talk about his
yeah,
what's the filmography.
the filmography.
Yeah.
Because he's done like 4 movies this year, and they've all been heavy hitters. Saturday Night,
I know.
Nosferatu. He was in-
I'm just still. We literally just talked about this too. I'm just still bummed out. It didn't do as well as I thought it would. Like I thought it was so
Yeah.
good.
I don't. A movie like that, it's bound for cult status.
It is.
It's a shame.
In 15 years,
Mhm.
they're gonna look at it and be like, "Wow."
Conversely, I think Nosferatu is going to do exceedingly well.
So you think it's gonna do well in the box office?
I think so.
Do you think it's gonna do better than the Bob Dylan movie, which is also
Yes.
coming out the same day? You think it's gonna do better?
Yes,
I'm actually excited to see these statistics.
I am too.
I just don't have a gauge.
The Bob Dylan movie is going to pull a wider appeal, but the people who are going to see Nosferatu are like dedicated fans, and they know what they want, and it's going to kind of spread word of mouth. And I think in the same way that Nosferatu is going to spread word of mouth,
Mhm.
the Bob Dylan movie will die.
Do you think that it's going to do better in both ratings and numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's just
Okay.
my educated guess. Is I think Nosferatu is going to. I think it's going to.
Yeah.
It will do much better than the Bob Dylan movie in terms of like critic numbers, and I think in terms of box office, it will marginally do better.
I think here's my theory.
Okay.
I think that the Bob Dylan movie will do. And again, I don't know an insane about Nosferatu, so
Mhm.
take this with a grain of salt.
Okay.
I think that the Bob Dylan movie will pull more in the box office,
Mm-hmm.
but do significantly worse in critic reviews and just reviews in general.
Yeah, I'm thinking that same.
Do we want to
thing.
guess an audience score for both those movies?
Yeah, Bob Dylan audience score is gonna be.
I'm gonna guess a 70%.
Oh, I was gonna go 79.
Okay.
Audiences tend to glaze on Rotten Tomatoes, and then for Nosferatu,
No, not Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score. They're two different things.
yeah, the
The audi-
audience score on Rotten Tomatoes,
Okay. Okay.
right? That's
No, because normally they're. Oh no, they're two different things.
no. There's the critic score.
Rotten Tomatoes are on a 5-point scale, and
No, they're not. Rotten
Am I
Tomatoes are
tweaking?
out of 100%.
because I remember always seeing like when you go to when you look at a movie on like IMDb and stuff, it will show the Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score, and then because the audience score has a little popcorn symbol next to it.
Yeah, no. Rotten Tomatoes is the website, and there's a critic score and there's an
Okay.
audience score. So it's like based.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
percentage.
Yeah. So what
I-
was the percent?
I think 79 for the Bob Dylan movie,
Mm.
and audiences tend not to vibe with Robert Eggers.
really.
I did some research. The Witch has a critic score of 90 and an audience score of 59.
Dang.
Audiences did not mess
Do you know
with
what my
the-
guess is?
What?
Is it just people that are just going to the movies to have a good time, and they're not necessarily like film bros or
Yeah.
film centric people?
And they're not seeing something they can just immediately comprehend.
Yeah. So
I would definitely add The Witch and The Northman to your list, but I would say more urgently watch The Northman That's
Yeah.
more vital to the experience of seeing Nosferatu.
Well, do you think I should see it before if I have time?
If you have time, it's a bit of
We should at some point. If we have time, I feel like we need to focus on getting we need to see Gladiator too.
yeah, it's true.
We have big plans for New Year's.
If you're just trying to knock out the Robert Eggers filmography, but you're worried about time, The Witch is like 90 minutes.
Okay.
It's very quick. And very suspenseful. That 90 minutes passes so fast.
Yeah.
The Northman is long and it feels long. So
Okay.
I think the vibe of that movie is more what you're going to want to anticipate. But I don't even know why I say that, because it's not a horror movie. I'm just kind of getting the general, the aura coming off of Nosferatu is that it's going to be a bit longer. It's going to be a bit slower than The Witch is, because The Witch moves very fast. So yeah, just kind of be ready for this Robert Eggers. Let's draw it out and kind of soak in it for a bit.
And how long is it?
Nosferatu?
Yeah.
I think like just over 2 hours, maybe like 2 hours and 7 minutes or so.
Got it.
Yeah. So not like horrendously long, but certainly longer than either The Witch or The Lighthouse.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's the Nosferatu.
that's the Nosferatu rundown.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see it because I'm still going in now knowing a little bit more,
You know a little bit more than you did.
but still not an insane amount.
This might not. Do you know what like the first Nosferatu looks like? Have you seen the
Visually,
picture?
yeah.
Visually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is true or not, because they haven't released, like, the only people that have seen the movie are like the previewing critics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true or not. It's a bit of a rumor on the street, but apparently Bill Skarsgård's Nosferatu has like a mustache,
Oh.
which will like kind of unsettles me.
Yeah. That's a little weird.
It's kind of icky to think about.
Yeah.
But the plot, I won't spoil it if you want me to, but the plot of Nosferatu is so silly. Like,
I don't know if I want to know.
okay.
I think I kind of want to go in blind.
We'll touch on that. That might be my hot take, is that it's like one of the silliest movie plots of all time, and it just so happens to be in a horror movie.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in to Podmas again. And I don't know. We're just excited to finish this thing off.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right.
Bye.
Pizza.
Pizza?
Pizza.
Pizza.